to leave this town, 'cause lately I've been feeling down. The cold nights.
Hello everyone. Today I will be teaching you how to make beautiful custom terrain. Creating custom terrain using this method takes minimal time and will allow you to make large-scale hubs, spawns, maps, and more in no time. The map shown here is the terrain I made using this method for my server. Unfortunately, I'm not the best at creating custom terrain, but I have a feeling you will do better than I did. This tutorial will be really in-depth, and I would recommend watching it all the way through. To get started, you have to download the 3 plugins which you can find down below. One is GoBrush, GoPaint, and the last one is Fast Async World Edit. To download them, simply click the Download Now button on each one of them. Now that they're all downloaded, head over to wherever you're hosting your server and head over to the Plugins folder. Then upload all the files. Once they're all uploaded, head over to your console and start the server. Once your server started, go ahead and join your Minecraft server, then find a spot of land where you want your terrain to be. To get started, what you will need is your flint. This is what GoBrush uses. Next, you have to left click, and that'll bring up the GUI. Now let's go over all the different things you can find on the GUI. First, you can enable and disable the brush as well as change the type of brush. Next, you can find the size. This adjusts the size of each pull or push movement. Next, you can find the intensity, so the intensity of it. You can change the mode, so whether you want it to pull up the ground or push it down. You can do 3D mode, which is one of the things I am not 100% sure on what it does, but I don't really use it. Next, you can see we have something called flat mode. This basically means if it's enabled, whatever you're looking at will become flat. So you have a mountain, but you want the top to be flat. You look at the top, and that'll flatten everything out. And then also, there's something called auto rotation, which means the brush pattern will always be facing a certain direction. Next, let's go over all the brushes. To change the type of brush, left click the book. And here you can see all the different brush types and all the different sort of patterns that they are. The colors represent the amount of depth. You can see that there are quite a lot, so you have a lot to choose from. Personally, I do enjoy using Classic Mountain, so for this tutorial, I'm going to be using Classic Mountain. So to select it, simply left click, and now everything's set up. Now, let's go ahead and configure size and intensity. For size, I like making it pretty big, so I'm going to make it, I'll make it 90 here, or 91. And then intensity, I like keeping it like 7 or 8, but I'm going to keep it at 7. Next, we have the brush selected, we have intensity and size set up, and we have it on pull mode. Then you want to go ahead and right click the book, and now you can see your brush is enabled. But if you try right clicking right now, it won't work because of world restrictions. So if you have this issue where it won't let you do anything, run /WEA, and now you will be able to do it. If you right click, you can see that the terrain is pulled up. Say you made a mistake and you don't want the terrain to be pulled up. Simply run //undo, and it'll get rid of it like world edit. Now let's go ahead and get into building it. To get started, what I like to do is I like to get the outline done. So I'm going to outline whatever mountains I want. So I'm going to make an outline of a pretty big thing, since this would be like the one I showed in the cinematic, which is a pretty big spawn. And it might not look like much now, but you'll see that it will truly become something. I think this is big enough. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure they're all connected now. And once they're all connected, what you want to do is you want to raise them up. So to raise them up, just simply click the top of them and it'll raise them up. And what I want to do is I want to get this one up to my desired height. So I want it to be, you want to make sure that you build the mountain a little bit too tall instead of making it too short. That's a mistake I've made multiple times. Then you want to go ahead and get every other one up about to that same height and make sure the middle part is caught up too. Then you want to make sure you do your entire outline to the same level. If you're doing hub mountains like mine, hub mountains are basically where the mountains completely surround the little lobby area, which you would have in the middle. If you're making custom mountains for like a custom biome, then make the height differences depending on what you would want. Once you have all your mountains set up, next we have to smooth it, since as you can see it looks quite jagged, and that doesn't look very nice. So to do that, go ahead and use / wand, and what you want to do is you want to select both edges of it. So make sure you're on right here, and I'm going to select both edges, so right here, and then go up to the top corner on the opposite side. And now we're at the top corner, so up one, and I'm going to go ahead and right click. Voila. Then I'm going to use / smooth -s, and then what that will do is that'll smooth the entire mountain. Now when you're in the center, it should look quite nice and smooth. If you did a better job than me, this might look a little nicer, but I did a really bad job while setting this up. But you saw in the cinematic that it looks quite nice if you do it right. Now let's go ahead and start painting. To paint, simply grab your feather, left click, and you can see that you can enable and disable it. You can see the different brush types on the different player heads. You can also change the brush size. One of the cool things about GoPaint is mask mode. Mask mode basically means, say you have this huge build with some sponges in it, like placeholders. Say you want the sponge to turn into stone. You can have turn mask mode on and put a sponge here. So when you paint, it'll turn any block that is sponge into stone if you're looking at it. Besides mask mode, you also have a mode called surface mode. Surface mode is used if you only want to paint the blocks on the surface. That means the plugin will not paint any block below the surface. But say you have multiple layers and you want all the blocks to be changed. You would simply make sure this is off. But if you only wanted to touch the first layer of blocks, turn it on and get started painting. Unlike the one in the cinematic, I want this one to be wintry themed. So I have my snow block right here, and I'm going to paint the top of each mountain peak with snow. To do that, simply grab your block and your feather, left click, and then you can put snow in for the stone. And I already have the brush enabled, so let's go ahead and start painting. Once the block's in there, just simply look at the block you want to paint, and just right click, and you can just drag and look and paint every block. I'm going to do this for every single mountain peak, and I'll be right back. Now you can see I have painted the tops of each mountain with snow. Next, I'm going to do the rest. To do that, you got to find blocks that fit your theme. So I'm going to grab some light blue stained glass. I'm going to grab some ice. I'm going to use this type of ice. I'm going to get some snow. And I'm going to grab some packed ice. Then simply left click and replace any of the blocks that you want with the blocks you want to. And now you can see each block has a 25% chance of placing, as well as what I want to do right now is I'm going to use a mask, because I don't want to change the snow blocks already, so I got to grab grass, and I'm going to put it in the mask. So, right here, and it's now in the mask. I'm going to turn mask mode on, and I'm going to also turn up the size of my brush drastically, since the entire rest of this is going to be painted with the blocks. So let's go ahead and do it right now. As you can see, the entire thing has been painted, but I have missed some blocks because, well, they're not grass blocks. Some of them are mycelium or just plain dirt. To do that, you can just simply remove the mask and lower your brush size and brush it in, which is what I'm going to do right now.
Shine bright up all night, we're never slowing down. Fall in love, drunk mistakes, we're bound to hit the ground. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now, do it like it's only today. We gotta party for
And this is the final product. It looks pretty nice, but it could be better. This was just a quick and brief tutorial on how to create custom terrain, so the longer you work at it, the better it would look. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.
I can't wait to leave this town, 'cause lately I've been feeling down.